Stephen A. Smith allegedly was defending Zion Williamson. Let's get into it, ladies and gentlemen.
Now I want to transition to something else that I've been aching to talk about. So last week, I came on this podcast, this show, and I talked about Zion Williamson. And as you all know, Zion Williamson was in the news for, dare I say, salacious reasons. He was in the news because
Stephen A., to be honest with y'all, I think he's a much better person when he's produced versus when he kind of goes off on his own, because I don't think his thoughts are as coherent and as well thought out. And I don't think that he has the proper people that surround him to give them the insight and the information and the research. And so I'm assuming that this is being produced because I heard him mention his producers before for this particular platform. But it seems as though he's not as well thought out when he's giving his thoughts on what's happening in pop culture as he is when he is talking about sports. And that may just be because he's more versed of what's going on in sports and what's happening out here in these streets, even when it's relative to athletes. But I think that Stephen A. Smith is a much better pundit when he's on produced television than when he's on his own platform. But that's just my personal opinion. Let's continue.
he's expecting to be a daddy. Congratulations to him.
And yes, his mic is loud today.
Change your life forever, my
adjustments.
brother. I don't care what you think you know about love. You don't know anything about love until your child is born. It's a different level then. It's a different level. It's special and scary all at the same time because they're your responsibility. And money doesn't just cut it. You got to be around them and got to safeguard them, and you got to do everything you can, exhausting yourself to protect them. And even then, you're worried sick because you have that profound level of love for them. So good luck with that. But while all of that was being spread over the airwaves, the reason why it was is because some woman came out of the woodwork and went on social media going off on him. And she was a porn star.
Yo, they really need to get his levels right. I'm going to turn his mic down just a tad. All right, just a tad. Just a tad. Let's continue.
And then we later learned somebody else came out and was attacking him. Really damn shame. But nevertheless, his father, and some people like to say stepdad, hell with all of that. That's his daddy. That's what he calls his daddy. That's what I'm going to say is his daddy. Okay? Just because you biologically responsible for somebody coming onto this earth. No. That's just the father. Daddy is somebody that takes care of his child. My daughters don't call me father. It's daddy. It's what a daddy is. So major props to his daddy for taking care of him and speaking up for him. I just think you got to know when to speak and when it would be in your best interest to just keep quiet. Daddy didn't do that. Instead, he said this.
And I want to be politically correct when I say it. That's my.
What is politically? I don't really know what politically correct is, but apparently this is Zion Williamson's stepfather. How did Anton already know that he didn't have a strong father, a strong biological father in his life? Well, I'm looking at the simp tactics. I'm looking at the fact that he's paying chicks and offering them on social media and DMs and on Snapchat, how much is it going to cost me in order to help maintain your lifestyle? And these women are not even his chicks. They're not even in a relationship with him, nor are they married to him. And so he's paying for and maintaining women's lifestyles. And that is the very first red flag that we as men are able to identify as a man that was largely either raised by a simp, not saying that he's raised by a simp because I don't know his father, raised by a simp or was raised by a single mother. And so when we see his actions, is very much a reflection of a man that was raised by a strong woman. That's why we don't necessarily care for it.
My son, and I love him. You know, when I was a child, I walked like a child, talked like a child, did childish things. But when I became a man, when I understood, then God blessed me.
I'm sorry. It said the scripture is I put away childish things. So he's just winging it. Shout out to the stepfather that's winging it out there, looking like a whole fool, not a half a fool. Everybody don't need a microphone, family. Sometimes the best way for you to say, and then the people in the audience is, amen, amen. Yes, talk. If you ever, listen, as a black person, if you ever want to start to get the audience on your side, even if it doesn't even relate, even if it's completely out of context, even if you completely misquote it, and misquoting is fine, but you still got to be around and in the same vicinity. If you just want to get the black people on your side, all you got to do is start pretending like you know some scripture. Just start pretending like you know some scripture, and that's it. Look, nobody would ever be listening to Zion. What is up with the fathers today? You got Ja Morant's father. The 2019 draft class fathers is out here looking like crazy men. Crazy. All I know is when I was a child, I did some crazy stuff. But when I became a man, I was a blessed man. What? What are y'all talking about?
So all I'm going to say this morning, believe half of what you see and nothing you hear.
Oh, so now you quoting Jay-Z. Oh, now you quoting Jay. Now you misquoting Jay-Z. Believe half of what you see and none of what you hear. But Jay-Z started spitting them bars after he said it correctly. And with that said, I kill niggas dead. You know what I'm saying? That's what Jay-Z started spitting. Now, with that being said, believe half of what you see and none of what you hear. You hear me? Somebody put these daddies out there. Somebody sit the daddy down and tell them to go watch the game instead of keep talking on behalf of their kid. Just because you're a father, just because you're a stepfather, don't mean that you know what the hell you're talking about. Congratulations to you. You raised a crazy physical specimen. Reading that super chat shortly. Shout out to Ash. You raised a crazy super physical specimen that can jump out the gym but is unable to maintain and have any level of dick discipline. Congratulations.
That's all I'm going to say.
That's all I'm going to say.
I stand by my son 100%. There you go. I wasn't always where I am today.
Uh-oh. Oh, no, he didn't just turn away from the mic and he gave the black woman. Hold on, let me I wasn't always where I was today. Hold on, do it again.
I wasn't always where I am today.
Oh, no, not the end of the speech. Who from the New Orleans Pelicans authorized this man to get up here on the microphone and embarrass himself and Zion Williamson? Oh, hey, Zion and his daddy. Make sure y'all hop out and y'all rock out with Anton. Listen, hit me up, big dog. Zion, hit me up, big dog. You need better representation. You need more people around you that's going to actually be honest with you and give you the game, that can articulate themselves more effectively. I'll even be a spokesperson for you and to be able to communicate more effectively of how it is that we need to talk to the media. Fam, you need better people around you. I'm gonna get your life together. I'm gonna get these hoes for the streets out of your way. We're gonna get this paperwork together, this NDA together. Zion, all of these NBA people. Hey, hit me up, man. Hit me up, man. I got y'all, bro. And they applauded him too. Look at Zion. Zion gave him give me a hug, son. Oh. Oh. Give me a hug, son. Yeah, Dad. Thank you for standing up for me, Dad.
That provokes several questions. Respectfully. To Zion Williamson's daddy, Mr. Anderson Lee. Number one, why should anyone listen to a single syllable you just uttered out of your mouth?
Facts.
Because you just told everybody, believe half of what you see and none of what you hear. So you were speaking. If you don't want people to...
Stephen A., you making this too complicated. He was listening to Jay-Z on his way there, and he tried to recall some of the scriptures from the Bible that he heard when he was growing up. This ain't that deep. Stephen A. about to do a deep dive, I can already tell, and he about to break down about what the guy said and why he hypocrisy and all this other type of stuff. It's not that deep. He was listening a little bit of Jay-Z on the way there, and he remembered some scriptures, and so that's what he was speaking about. That's it, bro.
To listen to what we hear, then we shouldn't have heard you, should we have? That's number one. In other words, that's a patently false statement because you want people to listen to what you're saying. So it doesn't make sense what you said. Number two.
Facts. That didn't
stand
make
by
sense.
your son for what?
Yo.
You see, at certain...
Hold on. Is Stephen A. steal my setup? Hold on. Okay, listen. I don't think that I'm that popular. I don't give myself this amount of credit. All I'm asking is, this look like a very familiar fucking setup that I see over there on Stephen A. Smith's show. And now it may not be Stephen A. It may be a producer over there that said that, hey, we caught a glimpse of what was happening there on the Millionaire Morning Show, and this is what it is. Yo. My junk is 100% original. My stuff is 100% original. I know this is just a coincidence. Listen, I don't give a fuck what y'all say. Everything I come up with is 100% based off of what it is that I do. I'm looking at a very similar setup right there. Look at it. Look at the outline and shit like that. Look at how I faded in. All right, I'm freaking out then. Come on, fam. This is exactly, look at the out. Next thing you know, they're going to be having a thing at the bottom. It's going to be an outline. What the fuck, man? Trinity Lock say, I see this setup all the time. Oh, fuck what you talking about. I created my own shit. So now all of it. Yo, you do know that the Stephen A. Smith show is a brand new show, right? All right, okay. I'm going to assume that we both just had the same idea. Whoever the editor or the publisher is, we just had the same fucking idea, and that's just the way that it is. No, I didn't buy no fucking template. All of my shit is custom, big dog. My stuff is 100% custom. This ain't no fucking template. Oh, no, that's a template. It's not a template. It's not a template. Y'all some haters. Fuck y'all.
Points in time, you have to wonder when a dad is speaking up to bring attention to himself. Zion Williamson may have been joked about, but no one accused him of committing a crime. He's 22 years old and unmarried. All due respect, he can do what he wants. He can do what he wants. I don't give a damn if it's some girl or if it's a porn star or a stripper or whatever. It's none of our business.
Now, Stephen A. Smith is capping right now. And the reason that he's capping is because this is the same thing, the exact same thing that he was having a conversation about As far as holding somebody else accountable, Paul Pierce. Wait. Paul Pierce. He was holding Paul Pierce accountable. And he was saying that what you do on your personal time and how it is that you're representing your brands and representing the interests of those that you work for, especially as a public figure. You can't say don't tell Zion what to do in his personal life when he's not moving according to how he's supposed to be moving as a public figure. One of the reasons why we rock with these people and one of the reasons why they buy their shoes and they love what it is that it's not just what you do on the court. And it's not two different scenarios. It's not two different scenarios because Zion Williamson was the one in that video talking about, yeah, because I don't know what the future holds, but daddy gon'. He the one that was sending the Snapchats. He the one that was on there with his shirt off talking about what you doing, how much is it going to cost for me to be able to maintain your lifestyle. You can't sit here and say that we got to ignore this part, but we can only pay attention to this part. I think that all is fair in love and war when you become a public figure. It's okay for people to evaluate your life. Shout out to Brock. I'm going to read that shortly. If you start to put shit out there, it's okay for people to start to evaluate it. When Paul Pierce was on the live talking about in his personal life, he liked to buy chicks off the internet, bangachickforaday.com or whatever the hell the name of it was. Then we had all of the smoke, but then now all of a sudden it ain't nobody else's business whether or not Zion is getting porn stars pregnant or chicks from fans only is coming on the platform. Maybe I'm off.
None. He's 22 years old. He's a superstar athlete who is 22 years old. I can't imagine what I would have done if I was in Zion Williamson's position at age 22. And I think I speak on.
He wasn't too young when he signed that $194 million contract. He not saying I'm too young to be able to take the money. He's not saying that he's too young to be able to take the money, but he's saying that he's too young and he's too immature to be able to understand what he's doing as far as showing what's going on for these chicks for the streets. Which one is it? Either you take the full responsibility because they're not saying that Ja Morant is too young and that he messing up and he's too young for to be responsible for what it is that he's putting out there to the general public. Which one is it? Are we having sympathy and are we having compassion or are we holding them accountable? I'm just trying to be sure.
On behalf of most young adult men out there, regardless of ethnicity. Everybody knows that, Mr. Lee. Why would you feel the need to say that? Why? And think about this for a second. Your son is being condemned in your eyes, so you think, what would exactly be the condemnation? That he got loose? That he was getting some? That dare we say he was being a bit promiscuous? He's 22 and single and rich and famous.
So, how is that any different from Paul Pierce? He's 42 and single and rich and famous. And he likes to buy his Build-A-Bears from the internet. And Zion Williamson likes to get his Build-A-Bears from fans only. So what's the difference? Just curious, what's the difference? How do we then hold Paul Pierce accountable for not being a lot more professional and taking care of business and presenting himself in the best light, especially as a black man? But then we don't hold Zion Williamson, who's literally more influential than Paul Pierce, accountable for how it is that he's getting these hoes for the streets pregnant. We talk about everybody. Ain't nobody tripping. We was talking about Will and Jada. Ain't nobody was tripping when we was talking about Ja Morant. They don't trip when we talking about D Wade. They don't trip when we talk about Paul Pierce. They don't trip. If it was Stephen A. Smith and Shaq just got caught with Brittany Renner out here walking in the streets, some chick at Home Depot just highlighted and put out there Shaq's DMs and all of this other type of stuff. But somehow, some way, Zion Williamson is above it. No, I'm saying fans only on purpose. If you know, you know. Shout out to YouTube and the algorithm for when you say it the other way. Just curious.
Add those categories together. 22, young, rich, famous, and you'll usually see promiscuous somewhere. I mean, let's just call it what it is. Let's just call it what it is. Nobody's judging your son. Folks might have had fun joking around about it or whatever for a day. Nobody's judging your son. He wasn't waving a gun. He wasn't violating league rules that's going to provoke a suspension. He didn't get in trouble with the law. For all intents
It's not about that, bro, but I'm going to let him finish.
and purposes, he seems to be a good guy. What did I say? What I said was, you only played 29 games.
Nobody is saying that Zion Williamson should lose his bag or lose his money or get fired or be held accountable in that way. But we can hold him accountable for what it is that he's presenting himself to be like when it comes to dealing with these hoes for the streets. Because we're objective enough to be able to separate the two. Nobody is saying that he should lose his job. All we saying is, why you out here being messy and looking stupid and giving these chicks more ammunition to come after y'all? Because you are now putting black men or men in general under a microscope because you feel like it's good to trick off on these hoes that's for the streets. That's all we saying. Nobody is advocating for the loss of a platform or money or suspension or anything like that. Get your money, big dog. Just maybe you should move a little bit differently when it comes to these hoes. That's all we saying, big dog.
That's what I said. You got this energy. Evidently, can we see you play? In your sleep, you average 26. His career numbers are 25.8 points, 7 rebounds on 60% shooting from the field. And that's what you growing, not even knowing the game yet. And you are a superstar player. We know that when Zion Williamson is on the court, he's virtually unstoppable. We know that the New Orleans Pelicans would have likely been in the Western Conference Finals. Hell, they might have beat Denver if Zion Williamson was healthy.
Hey, producer, can we get a close-up really quickly? You know, this is why I'm starting a sports show, because I'm realizing that a lot of these guys is literally just reading off of whatever the producer is saying. There's no way that the New Orleans Pelicans was going to be beating Denver in a... That's a Aaron take right there. That's a sports guru AL take right there. That was the dumbest thing that I'd have never heard him say. And it's not possible. Don't think it even for 1 second.
Why would you feel the need to address those folks like that? Is that about Zion, sir, or is that about you? Because anybody with sense is not going to condemn or bother a 22-year-old who is single, unmarried, he's a superstar athlete, he's rich and famous. And oh my God, he was getting loose. He was having sex. Oh my God. Really?
Yes, he was having sex and paying and tricking off on a porn star while getting another chick that's a baby mama for the streets pregnant that we all can go and see what her box is like. That's a problem. That's somewhat of a problem. Because then y'all going to be running on commercials talking about the NBA cares. Yes, it's a problem.
That's why you would feel a need to show up at his foundation and give a speech to the media nobody asked you to give. This is the problem with some parents. Respectfully. When you want attention, instead of letting things just fade.
Yeah,
people may have had fun with Zion that day. Nobody's bothering your son. We know he's a great guy. We know he's a great athlete. We are expecting big things. The only thing your son should be bothered about is that he can't seem to...
I know y'all, all of y'all from Louisiana want to sit here and talk about how great y'all Pelicans was. Fuck y'all Pelicans. And I like Brandon Ingram. And I also like CJ McCollum. But no way in hell was y'all ever going up against Denver in that juggernaut. at all. We don't want to hear nothing from y'all.
Get himself healthy to play. 24
Yeah, we knew Aaron was gonna jump in there.
games year one. Missed 21 games in year two. Missed the entire season in game three. And only played 29 of 82 games season four. Missing 53 games. Got his money, though. You want to stand by your son? How about standing by your son in those physical therapy lessons to get?
Let me make this other take. The New Orleans Pelicans, over the next 5 years, ain't that how long Zion's extension is? Will not make a Western Conference Finals. The New Orleans Pelicans won't. We ain't even talking about the finals. They won't even make the Western Conference Finals. I stand on that shit. The New Orleans Pelicans will never in the next 5 years make the Western Conference. The New Orleans Pelicans is probably the most dysfunctional, worst ran franchise in the NBA. I stand on that shit. Now, if y'all want to debate about it, then wait for my next sports show to come up, and it's going to be crazy. It's going to be hell. Never, ever. The New Orleans Pelicans is the they are the off-brand version of the Portland Jail Blazers. The New Orleans Pelicans is the off-brand version of the Portland Jail Blazers, except for the Portland Jail Blazers was way better than the New Orleans Pelicans because they had Rasheed Wallace. You know what I'm saying? Like, they had some monsters on the Portland Jail Blazers. But no way in hell is the New Orleans Pelicans ever going to make the Western Conference Finals. Ever. You can forget it. Or at least over the next 5 years, unless they get a whole new ownership group and new general manager and all of that shit. But if you know how the New Orleans Pelicans is built as an organization, you can forget it, bro.
That leg right so that brother could get on the court and we could see his greatness instead of hearing you talk about him like he being victimized. He's not. We really don't care. It was just fun. We know the guy's a good kid. He ain't getting in no trouble. He's not bothering anybody. And he ain't doing things.
Y'all don't remember when they gave him the nickname the Jail Blazers, when they had Rasheed Wallace and them on the Portland? Y'all don't remember the Portland Jail Blazers? Y'all so young. Y'all don't know nothing about this sports game. I'm going to teach y'all.
22-year-old, young, rich, famous superstar athletes wouldn't be doing. You hear a lot of superstar athletes that are young talking about a lot of things. Celibacy is not one of them.
All right, Stephen A., that's enough from you because you out here looking like a fool right now. You don't know what the hell you're talking about. Zion Williamson is an idiot, and he's a fool, and somebody needs to tell him. And if it ain't going to be you, then it's going to be me. All right? Get in touch with me, Zion. We're going to kick it, big dog.